Welcome to my channel HD Rare Coins 111, the place where history meets treasure. Here, every coin tells a story, from the oldest United States classics that shaped our past to the newest rare discoveries that amaze collectors today. If you love the thrill of uncovering hidden value, exploring the beauty of design, and learning the secrets behind coins worth fortunes, then you're in the right place. Join us as we dive deep into the world of rare US coins, both old and new, and reveal the fascinating details that make them priceless. Top 1. The Lincoln 1-cent penny of 1966 is one of those coins that continues to capture the curiosity of collectors, historians, and everyday Americans alike. At first glance, it might seem like just another common penny, but beneath its copper surface lies a fascinating story of history, transition, and unexpected rarity. The 1966 Lincoln penny belongs to the iconic Lincoln cent series, which first began in 1909 to honor the 100th birthday of Abraham Lincoln. Designed by Victor David Brenner, this series remains one of the longest-running designs in United States coinage history, making each year an important part of a much larger legacy. The obverse of the 1966 penny features the timeless portrait of Abraham Lincoln. His profile faces right, with the inscriptions, "In God We Trust," above, "Liberty," to the left, and the date, 1966, to the right. This portrait has endured for over a century, symbolizing leadership, courage, and unity. On the reverse side, we see the Lincoln Memorial, a design created by Frank Gasparo and first introduced in 1959. The memorial reverse replaced the earlier wheat ears design and gave collectors a new era of Lincoln cents. The detail of the Lincoln Memorial is so sharp that, under magnification, one can actually see the tiny statue of Lincoln seated within. What makes the 1966 Lincoln penny particularly intriguing is its historical backdrop. This coin was struck during a period of great change in U.S. coinage. Just a year before, in 1965, the U.S. Mint had removed silver from dimes and quarters, leading to a nationwide coin shortage and sweeping changes in production. Because of these challenges, the Mint decided to suspend the use of mint marks from 1965 through 1967. That means number 1966 Lincoln pennies have a D or S mark. Regardless of where they were made, Philadelphia, Denver, or San Francisco, they all look the same. This makes identifying their origin impossible, and it adds to the uniqueness of these years. The decision to remove mint marks was an unusual one in American history. It was done to discourage collectors from hoarding coins during a time when the nation needed more coins in circulation. As a result, the 1966 penny became part of this experimental era, setting it apart from other dates in the series. Millions of these pennies were minted, and because of that, many people might assume they are common. However, condition, errors, and varieties can make a huge difference in their value. While an average circulated coin might be worth only face value, the right example can be worth thousands. One of the most exciting things for collectors is the possibility of finding errors. Double dies, off-center strikes, and misaligned dies are among the mistakes that sometimes occur in the minting process. A 1966 penny with such an error instantly transforms from ordinary to extraordinary. Another key factor in value is grade. Most 1966 pennies that circulated show heavy wear, scratches, and discoloration. Finding one in pristine, uncirculated condition is far more challenging than it might seem. Coins that have survived untouched for nearly 6 decades are the real treasures of the date. Proof coins were also struck in 1966, but they were minted without the S mark normally associated with San Francisco proofs. These coins were sold in special proof sets, and their mirror-like surfaces make them especially attractive to collectors today. The copper composition of the 1966 Lincoln cent is another feature worth mentioning. At 95% copper and 5% zinc, these coins carry intrinsic metal value as well. Their distinctive reddish-brown or brilliant red surfaces, when preserved, add to their aesthetic appeal. The Lincoln Memorial reverse has its own charm. For collectors, this design represents the 1960s era of coinage, an era when America was undergoing immense cultural, political, and technological changes. Holding a 1966 penny is like holding a piece of that decade's history in your hand. Collectors often note that 1966 pennies are not as easy to find in high grades as later dates. This makes them particularly attractive for anyone seeking to complete a high-quality set of Lincoln cents. Finding one with full luster, sharp details, and no distracting marks can be a true challenge. Some collectors build what are called date runs, assembling a penny for every year of the series. In such collections, the 1966 penny always stands out because of the lack of mint marks. It represents an anomaly, a 3-year break from tradition that numismatists never forget. Auction houses have recorded surprising results for high-grade 1966 pennies. Especially when errors or unique features are present, these coins can skyrocket in value. Stories of coins selling for many thousands create excitement among collectors searching their own change. The charm of the Lincoln cent is that it is accessible to everyone. While rare coins from earlier centuries may be out of reach, a 1966 penny could be sitting in a jar of change right now. That accessibility fuels the passion of the hobby. The history of the Lincoln penny also adds sentimental value. For many Americans, the penny is the first coin they ever handled. Finding an older date like 1966 feels like rediscovering a piece of childhood and national memory. Preservation plays a key role in collectability. Coins stored in albums, flips, or protective holders stand a better chance of surviving in top condition. Those left in circulation often bear the scars of decades of handling, diminishing their numismatic value. Another layer of intrigue is the story of how coins were produced during this transitional era. The mint had to work quickly to meet demand, sometimes leading to quality control issues that gave rise to rare varieties. This is why collectors carefully examine each 1966 penny they encounter. The Lincoln Memorial reverse itself is sometimes criticized for its simplicity, but in truth, it is an architectural masterpiece on a tiny canvas. The columns, the steps, and the statue of Lincoln inside all demonstrate remarkable engraving skill. For young collectors, the 1966 penny often becomes a gateway coin. It's old enough to feel special, yet common enough to be found without great expense. Once they add it to their collection, curiosity about varieties and errors soon follows. Over time, appreciation for these transitional coins has grown. What was once overlooked as a common penny is now recognized as part of an important chapter in American coinage history. Collectors today actively seek out high-grade examples. The beauty of the Lincoln cent series is its continuity. From wheat ears to the Lincoln Memorial, and later to the Lincoln Bicentennial reverses, each design tells a story of America's journey. The 1966 issue is firmly part of that story, representing resilience during a challenging time. Auction catalogs regularly highlight special 1966 pennies, particularly those in exceptional grades or with unique minting errors. These coins remind us that even the most familiar denominations can hold surprises. The thrill of searching through pennies is timeless. Every collector hopes to stumble across a hidden treasure, and the 1966 issue provides that possibility. Its background, varieties, and rarity in top condition make it a true gem of the series. More than just money, the 1966 Lincoln penny is history you can touch. It is a reminder of Abraham Lincoln's enduring legacy, America's mid-20th century challenges, and the artistry of U.S. coin design. And when it comes to value, a pristine 1966 Lincoln 1-cent penny has been known to reach as high as $178,000. Top 2. The Lincoln 1-cent penny of 1973 holds a special place in the hearts of coin collectors, not only because of its role in the long-running Lincoln cent series but also because of the fascinating history and value hidden within its small frame. While many people see a penny as almost insignificant, the truth is that certain examples of the 1973 issue are worth far more than anyone could imagine. The obverse of the 1973 penny features the classic portrait of Abraham Lincoln, designed by Victor David Brenner. This iconic image has endured since 1909, making it one of the longest-running coin designs in American history. Lincoln's profile, facing right, symbolizes strength, leadership, and the enduring respect the nation has for him. Above his head appears the motto, "In God We Trust." a phrase that has become a standard part of U.S. coinage. To the left is the word liberty, and to the right is the date 1973. These small inscriptions are more than details. They reflect the values and traditions of the United States. Turning to the reverse, we see the Lincoln Memorial, a design introduced in 1959 to replace the earlier wheat ears reverse. Designed by Frank Gasparo, the memorial side carries its own symbolism. With careful examination, you can even see a tiny representation of the seated Lincoln inside the memorial, a remarkable detail for such a small coin. The year 1973 came just before the United States prepared for the bicentennial celebrations of 1976. It was a time of change and reflection for the country. The Lincoln cent, already over 60 years old by then, continued to serve as both currency and a national symbol. The 1973 penny was struck at 3 different mints. Philadelphia produced coins without a mint mark, Denver struck coins with a D mint mark, and San Francisco produced proof coins with an S mint mark. Each of these versions carries its own level of appeal to collectors. Proof coins from San Francisco are particularly striking. They were sold in special proof sets and display mirrored fields with frosted designs, showing Lincoln's portrait and the memorial in stunning clarity. These coins were not intended for circulation and remain collector favorites. The composition of the 1973 Lincoln cent was 95% copper and 5% zinc, giving the coin its familiar reddish-brown color. This was before the 1982 transition to copper-plated zinc, making the 1973 issue one of the last decades where true copper dominated. The cent collectors place great emphasis on the condition of these coins. While billions of pennies were struck in 1973, most entered circulation and developed scratches, wear, and discoloration. Finding one in pristine mint state condition is much more challenging. High-grade examples of the 1973 penny display full luster, sharp details on Lincoln's hair and coat, and clear lines in the Lincoln Memorial. These qualities separate a valuable coin from one that is only worth face value. Errors and varieties from 1973 add even more intrigue. Double die obverse and reverse pennies, off-center strikes, and clipped planchets are among the most desirable. Collectors are always searching through rolls of pennies hoping to uncover one of these valuable oddities. Some of the most dramatic double dies show strong doubling on the date, or lettering. These are immediately noticeable and can bring impressive prices when they appear at auction. Such errors transform an ordinary penny into a rare prize. The 1973 Lincoln cent also carries sentimental value. For many people, it was the coin they saw in their childhood. Parents and grandparents often kept these coins aside as keepsakes, passing them down through generations as small treasures. Auction results prove that the 1973 penny is far more than pocket change. Coins graded at the highest levels, especially with rare errors, have achieved astonishing figures when sold to serious collectors. This shows how condition and rarity truly define value. The Lincoln cent series as a whole is one of the most collected in the world. Because it spans so many years, every collector wants to include the 1973 issue in their set. Its availability makes it accessible, while its rarer forms make it exciting. The Lincoln Memorial Reverse, though sometimes overlooked, is an elegant piece of design. The precision required to engrave the details of the memorial, including the columns and the tiny seated statue, demonstrates the skill of the U.S. Mint's engravers. Proof coins from 1973 show this artistry in its finest form. The mirrored backgrounds and frosted portraits create a sharp contrast, highlighting every line of Lincoln's profile and every detail of the memorial. Collectors value these for both their beauty and rarity. Copper coins also develop unique tones over time. A 1973 penny stored carefully can retain its original fiery red color, while others may develop brown or rainbow-like toning. These natural changes often add to a coin's beauty and uniqueness. The 1973 penny also serves as a reminder of how even the smallest denomination can hold historical significance. During this year, the U.S. was experiencing major political and cultural changes, and coins like this penny circulated in the daily lives of millions of Americans. Condition is everything when it comes to value. Circulated coins are usually worth only a cent, but uncirculated examples graded at the highest levels are treasures. The difference between a penny worth 1 cent and one worth thousands can often come down to a single scratch. Collectors often look for coins designated as red by grading services. These are pennies that have retained nearly all of their original copper shine. Red 1973 pennies in top grades are among the most desirable for serious numismatists. Lincoln cents are also popular because they are approachable. Anyone can start collecting them, but as knowledge deepens, collectors learn to appreciate the nuances of condition, mint marks, and varieties. The 1973 penny is a perfect example of this progression. Errors are always a highlight. Off-center strikes from 1973, where Lincoln's portrait is partially cut off, are dramatic and rare. These kinds of errors make for eye-catching display pieces that fascinate collectors and non-collectors alike. The 1973 penny also connects generations. It was handed to children as lunch money, saved by families in jars, and used in everyday transactions. Decades later, those same coins are rediscovered as valuable collectibles. Every coin tells a story, and the 1973 Lincoln cent is no exception. It tells the story of a nation in the 1970s, of a design that endured for decades, and of the lasting importance of Abraham Lincoln in American culture. Today, interest in the 1973 penny continues to grow. Collectors recognize its place in the broader Lincoln series and appreciate the opportunity to uncover rare varieties that make it stand out from the rest. Even though billions were made, the survival of pristine examples is limited. This scarcity, combined with collector demand, ensures that the 1973 Lincoln penny remains both popular and valuable. The 1973 Lincoln cent is proof that even the smallest coin can carry immense worth, both in history and in money. What once was spent on candy or saved in a piggy bank can now be a prized possession in a collector's showcase. And when it comes to value, a pristine 1973 Lincoln 1-cent penny has been known to reach as high as $135,000. Top 3. The Lincoln 1-cent penny of 1974 is far more than just a small piece of copper you could find in change. It represents a fascinating chapter in American coinage history, one that blends tradition, transition, and the unexpected. Collectors today recognize the 1974 penny as a coin worth studying closely, not only for its design but also for its hidden potential value. When you look at the obverse of the 1974 penny, you are greeted by the enduring portrait of Abraham Lincoln. Designed by Victor David Brenner in 1909, this portrait has become one of the most recognizable images in American coinage. Lincoln's profile gazes to the right, symbolizing strength and leadership. The words, "In God We Trust," arch across the top of the coin, reflecting the nation's values. To the left of Lincoln's image sits the word, "Liberty," while the date, 1974, appears to the right. These inscriptions may look small and ordinary, but to a collector, they are pieces of history frozen in time. Turning the coin over, the reverse displays the Lincoln Memorial, a design created by Frank Gasparo in 1959. This replaced the wheat ears reverse that had been on the penny since its first issue in 1909. The memorial is a symbol of national pride, and if you look closely, you can even see the tiny seated figure of Lincoln inside. The year 1974 was a notable one for the United States. The nation was dealing with political challenges, economic pressures, and cultural changes. Coins like the Lincoln penny were part of everyday life, used in millions of transactions, yet also quietly carrying a legacy of design and tradition. The minting of the 1974 penny took place at 3 main U.S. mint facilities. The Philadelphia Mint produced coins without a mint mark, the Denver Mint struck pennies with a D, and the San Francisco Mint produced proof coins with an S. Each version holds its own interest for collectors. The proof coins of 1974 are especially striking. Produced in San Francisco, these were not intended for circulation but instead were sold in proof sets to collectors. Their mirrored fields and frosted designs create a sharp contrast that makes the details of Lincoln's portrait and the memorial stand out beautifully. For most pennies struck in 1974, the composition remained 95% copper and 5% zinc. However, this year is remembered for an unusual experiment at the US Mint: pennies made of aluminum. Although these aluminum cents never officially entered circulation, a few examples survived, becoming some of the most legendary rarities in US coinage. Collectors often dream of discovering one of these 1974 aluminum cents, as they represent an important part of coinage history. Their existence shows how the mint was preparing for a transition due to the rising cost of copper. While nearly all were recalled and destroyed, a handful slipped away and remained surrounded by mystery. The standard copper pennies of 1974 are far more common, with billions minted. But condition is what separates a truly valuable piece from an ordinary one. A penny fresh from the mint, with no scratches or wear, can be worth far more than a circulated example. When evaluating the 1974 penny, collectors look closely at details like Lincoln's hair, the sharpness of the lettering, and the clarity of the lines on the memorial. A coin with full luster and no imperfections has the potential to command a high price. Grading services often categorize these coins as red, red-brown, or brown, depending on how much of the original copper color remains. A fully red 1974 penny in pristine condition is one of the most sought-after varieties. Errors from 1974 also add to the excitement. Double dies, off-center strikes, and clipped planchets are just a few of the mistakes that make coins highly collectible. Each error tells the story of how a minting mishap transformed a common penny into a rare collectible. Some double die obverse coins show strong doubling on the date or lettering. When found, these errors can take a penny from ordinary status to a coin worth thousands. Collectors are always searching penny rolls in hopes of spotting such treasures. The cultural connection of the 1974 penny should not be overlooked. For many Americans, pennies from this era were part of their everyday lives. They were the coins children used to buy candy, the coins saved in jars, and the coins carried in pockets for small purchases. This nostalgic connection gives the 1974 penny added appeal. Collectors often value coins not only for their rarity but also for the memories and stories they represent. A penny can serve as a small but powerful time capsule. Proof coins from 1974 showcase the artistry of the US Mint at its best. The mirrored fields reflect light beautifully, while the frosted images of Lincoln and the memorial seem to float above the surface. These coins are prized not only for their rarity but also for their beauty. The sheer number of coins minted in 1974 means that most people can still find them today. However, finding one in top condition or with a rare error is a true challenge. That is what makes the hunt so thrilling for collectors. Copper coins from this era also develop unique toning over time. Some turn a deep chocolate brown, while others develop stunning rainbow hues. These natural changes can make a coin even more desirable, as no two-toned coins look exactly alike. The Lincoln Cent series is one of the most collected in the world, and the 1974 issue fits perfectly into that legacy. Whether a collector is just starting or has been searching for decades, the 1974 penny always finds a place in the collection. While most examples are worth only face value, the rarest and most pristine coins can reach astonishing heights at auction. Stories of record-breaking sales inspire collectors to keep searching. The survival of the aluminum cent prototypes adds even more intrigue. Though they are not legally owned in most cases, their existence ensures that the 1974 penny will always be part of numismatic legend. Even without the aluminum cent, the copper pennies from 1974 can still surprise collectors with their beauty and rarity. Every coin tells a story, and the story of the 1974 penny is one of tradition meeting innovation. The Lincoln Memorial Reverse, though eventually replaced in 2009, represents an important era in the history of American coinage. Its precision and symbolism make the 1974 penny a work of miniature art. As the years pass, the value of high-grade 1974 pennies continues to rise. Collectors recognize that pristine examples become scarcer with each passing decade. Coins carefully preserved in protective holders remain treasures for future generations. The 1974 penny is proof that no coin should ever be overlooked. Something as small as a cent can carry with it history, artistry, and incredible value. It reminds us that in the world of coin collecting, rarity and condition are everything. What may seem ordinary today could turn out to be a hidden gem tomorrow. For those who appreciate history, design, and the thrill of discovery, the Lincoln penny of 1974 offers all of that and more. It stands as a symbol of how even the smallest denomination can leave the biggest impact. And when it comes to value, a rare pristine example of the 1974 Lincoln 1-cent penny has reached as high as $130,000. Top 4. The Lincoln 1-cent penny of 1975 is one of those coins that most people glance at without much thought, yet for collectors, it holds tremendous interest. Beyond its face value of 1 cent, this coin carries a story of history, artistry, and hidden worth that makes it an appealing part of American numismatics. The obverse of the coin presents the familiar portrait of Abraham Lincoln, a design created by Victor David Brenner in 1909. Lincoln's thoughtful gaze has become one of the longest-lasting portraits on U.S. coinage, symbolizing strength, honor, and leadership. Above his head rests the motto, "In God We Trust," a phrase that speaks to America's enduring values. To Lincoln's left appears the word, "Liberty," while to the right sits the date, 1975. These simple inscriptions, seen countless times, connect the coin to its moment in history. Turning the coin over, the reverse displays the Lincoln Memorial, designed by Frank Gasparo in 1959. This reverse replaced the wheat cent design that collectors had grown accustomed to in the first half of the century. The memorial design remained in use until 2008, making the 1975 penny part of a long chapter in U.S. coinage. The memorial itself is a national treasure, and its depiction on the penny captures fine details. If you look closely at a well-struck 1975 cent, you can actually see the tiny seated statue of Abraham Lincoln inside the memorial. This minute detail is something collectors love to point out. The year 1975 itself was an important one in American history. The nation was still adjusting after the Watergate scandal, preparing for its bicentennial celebration the following year, and enduring economic struggles. Through all of this, the penny remained a staple of daily commerce. The mints of the United States struck billions of 1975 pennies. Philadelphia produced coins without a mint mark, Denver struck them with a small D, and San Francisco created proof coins carrying the S mint mark. Each variation holds its own level of desirability. Proof coins from San Francisco are especially admired. With mirrored fields and frosted designs, they highlight the artistry of the Lincoln cent. These coins were sold directly to collectors in proof sets and were never intended to enter circulation. The composition of the 1975 Lincoln penny was 95% copper and 5% zinc. This classic copper mixture gave the coin its reddish hue. Just a few years later, however, the mint would change to a copper-plated zinc composition, making the older copper cents even more cherished. While billions were minted, not all pennies are created equal. The majority circulated heavily, collecting scratches, wear, and discoloration. But examples that survived untouched, with full mint luster and sharp detail, are the ones that command the attention of collectors. Grading is the key to value. A circulated 1975 penny is usually worth only a cent, but a coin in pristine mint state condition with full red coloration can be worth a small fortune. Collectors pay close attention to these subtle differences. The color of the coin is especially important. Copper cents are graded as red-brown, or brown. A 1975 penny that has retained its original fiery red color is highly sought after. These coins stand out among more common brown examples. Beyond condition, errors and varieties make the 1975 penny particularly exciting. Double dies, off-center strikes, die cracks, and other unusual features can transform an ordinary coin into a remarkable rarity point. One of the most popular varieties collectors hunt for is the double die obverse. On some 1975 pennies, doubling can be seen on the date or lettering. When clear and dramatic, these coins can fetch impressive prices at auction. Off-center strikes from 1975 are also fascinating. These occur when the coin blank was not properly aligned during striking, leaving part of the design missing. Such errors are immediately eye-catching and often highly collectible. Clipped planchets are another error collectors look for. These coins appear as if a piece of the edge has been neatly cut away. Each one is unique, and they serve as reminders of the complexity of the minting process. Proof coins from San Francisco in 1975 also hold their own charm. Some proof pennies display cameo or deep cameo contrast, with frosted devices standing out against mirrored fields. These coins are dazzling examples of craftsmanship. The survival of high-grade 1975 pennies is limited. Collectors who stored coins in protective holders preserved them for future generations, but many others were lost to circulation, damage, or neglect. This scarcity drives up the demand for pristine examples. For many collectors, the 1975 penny also carries nostalgia. It was part of the everyday change of the mid-1970s, used for candy, sodas, or parking meters. These coins connect people to their personal history as much as they connect to national history. Copper coins also develop unique toning over the decades. Some turn chocolate brown, others develop reddish or even rainbow hues. Natural toning can enhance a coin's beauty, making every 1975 penny a little different from the next. The Lincoln Cent series itself is legendary in coin collecting. With over a century of continuous production, it remains one of the most collected series in the world. The 1975 penny fits neatly into this story, representing the era just before America's bicentennial. Auction records have proven the potential value of the 1975 penny. Coins in the highest grades, especially those with errors, have reached extraordinary prices, stunning even seasoned collectors. These stories encourage enthusiasts to check their pocket change, search through old jars, and carefully examine rolls of pennies. The possibility of finding a hidden treasure makes collecting thrilling. Even though billions of 1975 pennies were made, only a fraction survive in top condition today. That rarity, combined with collector demand, ensures that this coin remains an enduring favorite. The artistry of the Lincoln Cent should not be overlooked. From Brenner's dignified portrait to Gasparo's precise memorial, the design represents the skill of America's mint engravers. Each detail tells a story. The 1975 penny also reminds us that every coin has two kinds of value, monetary and historical. While some pennies are worth thousands, all of them carry the memory of a time, a place, and a people. Collectors know that preserving coins like the 1975 cent keeps history alive. Each coin saved is a link between the past and the present, between everyday commerce and enduring heritage. In the world of numismatics, even the smallest coin can carry the greatest worth. The Lincoln penny of 1975 is a perfect example of how a humble 1-cent piece can become a prized collectible. And when it comes to value, a pristine and rare 1975 Lincoln 1-cent penny has been known to reach as high as $125,000. Top 5. The Lincoln 1-cent penny of 1981 is a coin that stands at the edge of a major transition in U.S. coinage history. While it may look like an ordinary penny to most, to collectors it is a fascinating piece that represents both the end of an era and the beginning of a new chapter. On the obverse, the coin features the timeless portrait of Abraham Lincoln. Designed by Victor David Brenner in 1909, this portrait has become one of the most enduring designs in American coinage history. Lincoln's strong profile reminds the nation of leadership, courage, and the values he stood for. Above Lincoln's head appears the national motto, "In God We Trust." To the left sits the word, "Liberty," and to the right is the date, 1981. With or without a mint mark depending on where the coin was struck. These inscriptions have graced the penny for decades, but each new year of production ties them to a specific moment in history. On the reverse, we see the Lincoln Memorial, designed by Frank Gasparo and introduced in 1959. For over 50 years, this reverse design served as a symbol of national pride. The detail is so fine that, with careful observation, you can even see the tiny statue of Lincoln seated inside the memorial. The year 1981 was a significant time in America. The country was entering a new decade, dealing with economic challenges, and welcoming Ronald Reagan as president. Against this backdrop of change, the Lincoln Cent remained a constant presence in the pockets and purses of millions of Americans. The 1981 penny was minted at 3 facilities: Philadelphia, with no mint mark; Denver, marked with a D; and San Francisco, with an S, on proof coins. Each mint produced millions of pennies, but the quality and rarity of certain versions make them especially interesting to collectors. Proof coins from San Francisco stand out the most. Sold in special proof sets, they feature deeply mirrored surfaces and frosted designs that showcase Lincoln and the memorial in breathtaking clarity. These coins were never meant for circulation, making them special treasures. The composition of the 1981 penny is where things get particularly fascinating. Like earlier cents of the 1970s, it was struck in 95% copper and 5% zinc. However, this was the last full year that the U.S. Mint struck Lincoln pennies primarily in copper before transitioning to copper-plated zinc in 1982. This means the 1981 penny is often referred to as the last of the true copper cents. For collectors, this historical fact alone gives the coin added appeal. It represents the closing of a chapter in U.S. coinage history. Billions of 1981 pennies were struck, and most went into everyday circulation. These coins endured heavy use, developing scratches, wear, and discoloration. While ordinary circulated examples are worth face value, pristine uncirculated examples tell a very different story. Grading is key when it comes to value. A 1981 penny in top mint state condition can be worth significantly more than one that saw everyday use. Collectors look for sharp details, blazing original luster, and the absence of blemishes. Color also plays an important role. Copper pennies are graded as red-brown, or brown. The brightest red examples are far more desirable, since they retain the full beauty of their original minting. A red 1981 penny in perfect condition is a collector's dream. Proof pennies from 1981 add even more intrigue. Deep cameo proof coins, with strong contrast between frosted designs and mirrored fields, are highly sought after. These are the coins that display the full artistry of the mint. Beyond condition, errors make the 1981 penny especially exciting. Collectors search for double-die obverse varieties, off-center strikes, and other minting mishaps that can transform a common penny into a rare collectible. Some of the most prized errors include dramatic double dies where the date or lettering appears doubled. These coins can command high premiums, as their rarity and uniqueness attract serious bidding at auctions. Off-center strikes from 1981 are also eye-catching. A penny with Lincoln's face partially missing due to misalignment is not only rare but also visually striking, making it a favorite among era collectors. Clipped planchets are another type of error seen in 1981 pennies. These coins appear as though a small portion of the edge has been sliced off before striking, creating a quirky and collectible mistake. Copper pennies like the 1981 issue can also develop beautiful natural toning over the decades. From deep chocolate brown to fiery red to rainbow-like patterns, these tones make every coin unique, adding to its character and appeal. The historical significance of the 1981 penny cannot be overstated. As the last full copper issue, it represents a time before the rising cost of copper forced the mint to change the composition of the cent in 1982. Collectors often prize end of an era coins, and the 1981 penny fits that category perfectly. It symbolizes the transition from tradition to change, all within the smallest denomination of American currency. While billions of these coins were made, only a fraction survive today in pristine condition. That scarcity makes them desirable for advanced collections, especially those aiming to capture a complete set of high-grade Lincoln cents. For everyday Americans in 1981, the penny was a part of daily life. It bought gum, candy, and parking time, yet today it has transformed into a collectible that can command serious value in the right condition. Auction results show that 1981 pennies in high grades, especially with errors or proof designations, can bring remarkable sums. These stories inspire new collectors to check their change and seasoned collectors to continue the hunt. The artistry of the Lincoln cent remains timeless. Brenner's portrait and Gasparo's memorial design together create a coin that is both historically meaningful and aesthetically pleasing. Each 1981 penny carries a legacy. It tells the story of the last true copper cent, of a nation in transition, and of the continuing importance of even the smallest coin in the American economy. Collectors who own pristine examples of the 1981 penny know that they are preserving a little piece of history. These coins serve as links between the past and the present, connecting generations through something as small as a cent. The Lincoln penny has always been one of the most collected coins in the United States. The 1981 issue, with its copper legacy and potential for rarity, continues to attract attention from collectors around the world. In the end, the 1981 penny proves that size does not determine value. Even the humblest coin can carry immense worth, both financially and historically, when preserved and appreciated. And when it comes to value, a rare pristine example of the 1981 Lincoln 1-cent penny has been known to reach as high as $96,000.